Alright, what's going on, guys? We are using a new mic today. Well, it's my headset, but we're going to hopefully try to get a clearer kind of voiceover for you guys. So bear with me if you hear some things. I'm still trying to tweak um, the microphone level. So today we are in the Hipper, which actually was one of my favorite ships before, right when the Edinburgh came out. And the rest of the British cruiser line. Hipper was a solid choice, and it was definitely a solid counter in the meta because you would just see a bunch of smoke screens, and you could reliably hit those RU cruisers in the smokes or the RN cruisers. I mean, so now since the RN or the RU, wow. Now that the Russian cruisers are out, their power is pretty much unmatched in terms of just overall ability. But Hipper still has a nice niche, I would say. Definitely one of my favorites just because the playstyle is there. You can play it really, really brawling-like. So first off, we start off in the middle spawn here. Not the best, to be honest, because of that right there. You can get spotted through that little gap, and it can be pretty devastating. However, we pay attention to that Jean Bart, and we were making sure that he wasn't focused on us or ready to fire. So, and that little gap that you just saw me shoot there is actually a really good spot to shoot this spawn. The only problem with that is our spawn is completely leaving. So, my plan of action here is to kind of lead this kind of charge here and peek over these islands and be able to kind of stall out. I just threw my controller on accident. Pretty much stall these guys here and realize that they have Vanguard and a Baltimore. You see the smoke screen as well. There is no cruisers that head out of that smoke screen, so there's definitely a destroyer here. So by now we are being targeted. Well, actually this is weird. We don't get targeted from the Vanguard for a long time. I think he shoots like 2 more salvos over me to shoot one of those battleships. But we're pretty much gonna make this. There he goes. He's shooting me now. Oh no, he didn't. Yeah, see that's what I'm talking about. I was like the whole time I was like, why is this guy not shooting at me? We're basically going to play this island very closely and kind of taking the brunt of this. And what you'll see happen. Very nice strike on the Vanguard there. Hipper's AP is brutal. And I'm not giving him a good enough angle to where he can really do any damage to me here. A little bit not angled enough there. The pride of the Royal Navy comes up behind me there to give help finally. He's not in the greatest spot because he has no room to maneuver. End up sinking 2 fires on that Vanguard, which is super nice. And as soon as I see Baltimore coming out here, I immediately switch to AP. I'm in a pretty good spot here, 6K. I see the torpedoes, and luckily enough, see me kind of gauging where they're going. I don't have to move at all. Unfortunately, that battleship does not have my maneuverability, so he is stuck there. We hit 12K or 12 or 13K there on the Baltimore. And notice there's more torps coming in here. We're facing 2 ships. We don't panic. I realize this gap in between these 2 sets of torps here. And at this point, I'm telling myself, alright, we have got to go for it. So this is where the propulsion mod is going to come in handy. We dodge that torp, and then we sink through this next patch. I notice the 2 destroyers to the right there. Unfortunately, my hands are kind of tied. Luckily, he gets taken out. We get 2 more citadels in Baltimore. These next couple of volleys are going to be kind of upsetting. He's just angled enough to where I can't get a nice broadside shot and finish him off here. And it was really kind of upsetting because I think I take some damage here that could have helped us out later on in the game. See, then he's still angled just enough. Luckily he gets taken out, we don't get any damage. I go ahead and switch immediately toward this Akatsuki. And what's funny, obviously with this sonar still going up for a couple more seconds, I'm slowing down and I am parking right behind this Baltimore. essentially making me immune to his torpedoes. And I realized this, and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna stay here. Let me just back up real quick. I noticed that their Jean Bart in spawn has no shots at me because of that island, so we're pretty safe here. We're still spotted, so definitely we're either still spotted from us shooting, or not too sure why he came out though, but was very surprised at the damage we get on this Akatsuki here, because usually the DPM from these guns is god awful. And especially on destroyers, like you have really good sonar, but your killing power versus DDs can really struggle sometimes, especially if you can't angle and you're just using the front two turrets. But there we go, we get some nice shots, and we end up, I was kind of wanting to get a close quarters expert here, but close but no cigar. Again, shot, I think those are widespread torps, so shoots widespread torps, still spotted. We still know there's another destroyer out here. Going to be honest, I'm not too keen on trying to find this guy, because at this point I feel like we're being led on a goose chase, so I don't really want to chase him. And I think at the end, once he gets spotted, I think that I made the right decision here. He's very far out there. We have a lightning. I see his health, and that was really my kind of cue to start, or to keep turning and moving away, just because I don't want to make another turn and waste time. So Z-23 should be dead, so we're moving on. I realize a battleship is in their spawn that has a pretty good angle at me, so I start turning in towards this island without really looking, just to kind of give me that gap. And what I don't realize at the time, that it is a hood, so I'm pretty safe in the spot that I am, and that Jean Bart is not focusing me at all. He was too busy bowing to another target. Lucky for us, we can start making our maneuvers towards. Wow, the destroyer died there. I didn't even realize that. The lightning died. That lightning being alive would have really helped. Anyways, we keep going. Hood and Jean Bart. Jean Bart is not facing us. We're pretty safe right now from him. However, this Hood plays it pretty smart here. If he would have charged me, it would have been a pretty easy cleanup for me, just because he can't overmatch me, and I would have been able to torp him. So you see me check here. I realized that I had I lost some torps early in the game, and I'm trying to figure out which torp side it is. Actually, I don't know if I do that here or not. But he is broadside, and these guns do hurt. Pretty nice salvo. They're not crazy, but just under 10k. At this point, I realize that he's running away, so if I try to chase him here, he's going to definitely get some solid damage against me, so I'm just trying to angle and let him get around this island before I make my next move. So, even though we can, you know, sustain this for a while, I'm still thinking ahead. I'm like, man, like, how much damage can I take from this guy and then continue on to, you know, kill the rest of the ships? So ends up kind of biting us in the aft later, but just squeaked over 100k damage, and we unfortunately pop out a little bit too much here. I expect that he was going to go forward, and we get pretty lucky, but you see that shot that we take there, that's a really, those two salvos there really hurt us, and not just in this engagement, but it really hurt our ability to carry later in the game, and that'll become very apparent in about 3 minutes after this engagement. So we ended up getting a torp hit there, which is huge because it was a flooding, so he either stuck with a permaflood or he has to use damage control. And the Skarnhorse that's been behind me, I don't know what the Skarnhorse has been doing, but I'm really trying to get away. I'm trying to disengage here. I'm trying to bait this guy around the island here, and I'm really hoping Skarnhorse steps up here. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Like, I haven't seen any shots from this guy at all, and I'm definitely trying to get back, but I'm also trying to stay in torp range. I don't want to just run from this guy. So, one thing that Hipper's probably best at is playing this little maneuver right here. Fortunately for this guy, he knows not to just come around the corner broadside, so I think we only get a couple torp hits here. But that's the beauty of Hipper having 6 torps per side, and then the AP is just brutal, so he's gone. Just under 150,000 damage. I believe this Jean Bart goes down kind of quick. And, yeah, there he goes. Unfortunately for us, I have no heals and I have just under 9,000 health, which can be a lot, but I realize that they have an Adigo on their team, so all an Adigo has to do is really turn away and burn me like 1 or 2 salvos and I'm dead. So my survivability right now is pretty low. So my decision is to maybe go for the base, because I realize that it's tied, so I was thinking, okay, maybe if we stall our points out, we can win, and I'm 100% assuming that this Colorado is going to go down, because when a Colorado starts getting backed down like that, there's just not much it can do. Obviously, because it only has 4 guns up front, and only being able to utilize 4 on a bow-in target. I don't know what ship that is down there. Oh, it's Ganai's now. Yeah, he's in a rough spot. He can't really do much in terms of offense against that guy. What he could have done is probably disengaged and turned around that island there and probably just baited that Colorado, or the Ganai's now, to last a little bit longer. But didn't really work out, so Scornhorse has the right idea. We're both trying to get in this cap. Have no envisions of capping this, because as soon as we get in here, these guys are going to be coming around this corner. And with 9,000 health, I can't really kite here. I need to stay kind of hidden. And what I wanted to do is, one, shoot over this island here. But this is a great showcase of Hipper's lightning fast shell velocity. So, what is my plan here? So with 9,000 health, we can't really brawl these guys out in the open, so what I want to do is try to get to this island in front, and basically do the same thing that I did to the hood. So that is what we try to do. Unfortunately, Hipper, while averagely fast, is just not fast enough. Scornhorse is turning away, which is honestly not the right plan, because we're down, so we have to kill somebody to win. It doesn't matter who dies. Like if we run, then we lose, and we wouldn't have killed these guys in time. Colorado is just a little bit too fast here, ends up getting around this island, and it kind of screws me here, which is upsetting. If I was, maybe a kilometer closer to that island, I could have, squeaked around, and obviously if I wouldn't have lost my torps early on in the game, then it would have been a different story. But, however, we still have the AP loaded. I'm hoping that this Adigo comes around the corner here and gives us a nice broadside, but only having this amount of health, it's a pretty short story. But we do end up torping the Colorado, which is nice. The Adigo is bow in, so we can't do anything to him. I'm pretty much just sitting here watching painlessly, knowing that this is over for me. We go down. Unfortunately, our Scornhorse is being a Chapayev right now. Just think if he was where I was, utilizing his torpedoes, Colorado goes down. I'm in the background, not tanking the damage, and I'm fairly confident we kill both of these guys, honestly. But sometimes that's just how it crumbles. 168k though. This was probably one of the most fun games I've had in terms of just playing around islands, playing it safe, and just keeping my nose stuck in a situation. That first engagement, we sat there in front of Vanguard, Baltimore, getting nice damage on them, and were able to tank damage a lot, and he just took a big shot there. But I mean, he's broadside to 2 ships, and USN 406, those guns hurt a lot. Fortunately for him, that Colorado burned his damage control for that flooding that I gave him, ends up taking him out with a fire. Adigo is pretty smart here, launches those torps. Ends up catching Buddy here with the torp, which hurts, but I mean at this point the game's really over. He just simply doesn't have any tools to really get damage out on this Atago, and Atago's playing it smart, being bow in, so there's no way that this is going to be a win for us. However, this was a super fun game, and even though we lost, had a lot of fun. Hipper's probably one of my favorite cruisers in the game. Um, Definitely before Chapayev came out, it was a super strong contender. It's still pretty good. Chapayev is just that much better than a lot of things. However, I really appreciate you guys, and I hope you enjoyed this defeat. But we are getting close to 200 subs, so if you would like, hit that subscribe button, and if not, oh well. But I will see you guys next time.